Amen. What it is, this is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. You already know the Cash App, $ Dean by any means. Y'all see that PayPal at Dean by any means. You see the super chat at the bottom. That's the heart with the $. You can press that at any time your heart desires. Please say it with me, y'all. I don't care if you leave $10, $1,000. It is much, much, much appreciated, yo. If Shakur Stevenson is who I think he is, he will step on Zepeda, and I will explain to you why. See, this is why Shakur Stevenson fans they get mad at me because I'm a Shakur Stevenson fan. I like Shakur Stevenson because I respect the fact that I think Shakur Stevenson is special, no matter what people try to say about the man. I don't have to like his business decisions. I don't have to like certain stuff he say in the media. Those are two different things. I don't even like everything that he does inside of the ring. But I have enough faith in Shakur Stevenson that I know Shakur Stevenson kind of knows the landscape better than most boxers do. Um, I know Shakur Stevenson knows he needs, if he goes out here and steps on Zepeda, all of the other stuff goes out the window after that. Everything else goes out the window after that. All of the offers and the not offers and the hurt hands and the promotional companies, all of that go out the window. If he go in here and handle his business. Why? Because Shakur Stevenson is a great fighter, and also because William Zepeda has earned his way. Like nobody can say William Zepeda don't deserve the fight or William Zepeda is not good or any of that. I don't want to hear none of that if Shakur goes out here and steps on him. But um, do I think Shakur Stevenson could be more entertaining? Absolutely. Do I think Shakur Stevenson um says be capping a lot and things like that? I think Shakur Stevenson caps, but he leaves a lot of things open ended where he can always go back and be like, well, I ain't say that like that. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I think that gets him in a lot of trouble instead of him just deliberately telling his intentions on what it is and what it's not. But Shakur Stevenson needs to, I think that Shakur Stevenson is going to step on William Zepeda. And I'm going to tell you why. To all my Shakur Stevenson fans that get mad at me when I be harsh on him, man. Yeah, I'm very harsh on Shakur Stevenson because I expect what I expect from somebody who promised me what they promised me. He doesn't get it past no different than anybody else. I'm not going to be fake for Shakur Stevenson. I'm not going to go against my integrity. I'm not going to go against what I believe just because I like the man. I'm sorry. I'm not that type of content creator. That's not what you come here for. But I think that Shakur Stevenson is going to step on William Zepeda because I kind of feel as though he has to. If this fight is close, not saying that it would be so devastating if it was like a classic fight, or even if it was like Lamont Roach and Gervontadavis. Like, that's not what I mean all the way. If it's a tough fight, it's a dog match, we get it. You'll get respect just based off of that. And plus, like I said before, William Zepeda is a top contender. William Zepeda is supposed to go in here and make it a dog fight too. He gets pressure too. William Zepeda don't just get to slide through the cracks and like, nah, my guy, like you supposed to, like you got 30 some odd fights as well. You the number one contender in all divisions. It's time for you to show up too. You have a burden of performance like everybody else. That's just me. That's how I look at stuff. I'm able to separate all of the BS. The ring size did not get smaller, so that's an advantage for Shakur Stevenson. Now Shakur Stevenson get to dance and do everything he does. But what I'm talking about is if this Shakur Stevenson will get more respect if he wins in a dog fight than he will if it's a 12 zip, but like they barely throw punches. If it look anything like the De Los Santos fight, all wins ain't created equal and all losses ain't created equal either. As we seen from Pitbull Cruz when he lost to Gervontadavis, as we see right now with Lamont Roach, him just getting a draw. So it's a burden of performance on William Zepeda as well. But I just believe that Shakur Stevenson is too talented. If Shakur Stevenson, I don't think William Zepeda does anything better than Shakur Stevenson. Maybe applying pressure, maybe you could say cutting off the ring, but that's probably the only two things that I can say that I think he's better, he's more talented than Shakur Stevenson. I believe Shakur Stevenson's the faster fighter. I believe maybe William Zepeda is the stronger fighter, but I don't think the power is that much of a difference that it even matters talking about the power type time. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, William Zepeda knock you out and do all of that, but is you going to hit Shakur Stevenson enough where that even matters type time? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to catch him with one punch to the stomach and Shakur's just going to no mas it. Like, I don't see that happening. The ring size, I just think that Shakur Stevenson is too talented for William Zepeda. And I think Shakur Stevenson understands his burden of performance to get the things that he desires. And I know that Shakur Stevenson if he go out here and knock out William Zepeda, stops him, or just bludgeoning, where even if it go 12 rounds, he win 9-3, but he was out there like working William Zepeda. Because I don't see nothing that stops him from doing that. The only thing I think could be a problem is William Zepeda throwing a lot of punches, but Shakur chooses not to throw a lot of punches. I don't think that he can't. And if he go in there and uses his footwork with the defense, but use the defense to strike back and ups his activity rate, which I think that he's going to do this fight. I think you will see a more active Shakur Stevenson because I think Shakur Stevenson understands the landscape, what everybody been saying. I do think Shakur Stevenson thinks about those type of things, and I think he also wants to. And if I didn't think he had the talent to do it, I'd be like, all right, Shakur, you tripping. But I've seen him do similar things, but I think that he could take it up a level, man. You're supposed to be getting better. You're supposed to be leveling up. And Shakur Stevenson says that's where he at this point in time in his career. So it's time to show that. And I believe that he will. I believe that he will. He cannot afford for this to be a boring performance. Shakur Stevenson can absolutely not afford this to look anything like William Zepeda fight. I mean, like Edwin De Los Santos. If this looks like anything like Edwin De Los Santos, first of all, it makes it way more harder for the Gervontadavis fight to get made. Number two, the criticism is going to be because now this will be fights in a row that people have been criticizing. Like it will become a pattern more than the norm. And the other reason why people wouldn't be trying to hear it is because what he just did to Padley. So it's like people are going to really put it like this. If it looked anything like the Edwin De Los Santos, all of the criticism he got for Edwin De Los Santos, it'll be times 3 that. Oh, it'll be times 3 that. And I think it hurts his marketability. I think it hurts a lot of different things. So now he going to be on undercards. Like you understand now that's where he put himself at now. He has to fight Tank at that point to be a main event. Or because if fighting William Zepeda don't make you a main event, it ain't too many other fights at 135 that will. If fighting William Zepeda don't make you a main event and you won't fight Keyshawn and things like that, it ain't too many other fights out there that's better than that at 135 that will make you main event fighter. So I think it hurts his marketability, and then the marketability hurts your pockets. But people always talk about they don't care about that. Well, then, but you care about him getting paid what he say that he wants. Well, you have to have marketability for them to pay you that because that's what makes fans want to come see you, pay tickets, come out there, and the whole not. Everything is like dominoes. Everything is the circle of life. We learned this on The Lion King. It is called the circle of life. Understand this, people. So I know that Shakur Stevenson understands if he go out here and stop William Zepeda, it'll put a lot of pressure on Gervontadavis because especially if Gervontadavis don't have a mandatory after fighting Lamont Roach, which might happen, but we'll see though. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're not sure what the WBA going to do about that. But also unifications trump mandatory, so if they jump into it fast enough, it won't even matter. It'll boost his marketability. I think he will become a main event fighter again if he does very well. Like him stepping on Zepeda has so many pluses to it. And I know that Shakur Stevenson knows that. I know Shakur Stevenson don't like how people have been talking. I know Shakur Stevenson don't like being on the undercard. He's admitted that he didn't like being on the undercard. But I told him this was going to happen if you keep trying to deal with Turkey and don't care about the fans and all that. Now they have no incentive to make you the main event. They can treat you this way because the revenue that you bring in doesn't demand anything different. And that's just how business and life goes. People are going to get you for as cheap as they can get you for. That's just how things go. So you either deal with that or you don't. Bob Arum is considering more making Abdullah Mason a main event fighter than he was before Abdullah Mason just went out here and did what he did, and then Keyshawn Davis hurt his marketability. Who do you think now? Because this is where marketability matters. Now, who do you think now Bob Arum is willing to invest in more? Abdullah Mason or Keyshawn Davis? So don't tell me that marketability doesn't matter and things like that don't matter. They matter a lot. They matter so much. That's how the promoters decide what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. That's how much it matters. It decides if the networks are okay. See, this is the other part that y'all never talk about. Yeah, these guys can make fights, but the networks also got to be in the line with that. Like, yeah, PBC they could put on the fights, and Amazon could trust them to put on the fights. But if they put on something so doo-doo, Amazon could say, listen here, no, no, no. We the ones that put it on. We don't want to see it. Like, no. They can do that. It ain't just the promoters, it's the networks as well, who has more power than the promoters because they're the ones actually showing the viewership of the fight. So, Shakur Stevenson, in my opinion, with all that being said, I think Shakur Stevenson is going to use his footwork. I think Shakur Stevenson, since the ring size is bigger, it's going to be harder for William Zepeda to track him down. I think William Zepeda fighting style is going to force Shakur Stevenson to be more active. And I think if that happens, I think Shakur Stevenson is going to beat William Zepeda to the punches and catching with a lot of in-between shots in this fight. And I think it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. I think it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. That's my personal opinion. Now, he could go out here and it look like Edwin De Los Santos, and you all know I'm going to keep it a stack on him if that happens. But I think that Shakur Stevenson is smart enough to know what he got to do. I think that he didn't like after the Artem fight. I think he was okay with the Padley fight, but at the end of the day, it wasn't against the opponent that he wanted. I think Shakur Stevenson understands that he needs a big moment to be right back where he was, even though Shakur Stevenson lied to me and said he don't care about being a superstar, but then says that he a superstar just like Gervonta Davis. You can't have it both ways, bro. You got to put on those type of performances to get that, bro. That's just what it is. Personally, that's just what it ain't even personally. That's just what it is. So I think Shakur Stevenson is smart enough. Shakur Stevenson is a smart young man. I think Shakur Stevenson understands all that. And I think he more than anything, I think that Shakur Stevenson wants to put on that type of performance. I think he has something to prove. I think he wants to show all of that stuff that he says he wanted to show. I think Shakur Stevenson know the narrative on what's on him. And I think Shakur Stevenson gonna be like, oh, okay. I expect to see from Shakur Stevenson this fight look like Floyd Mayweather Gotti. That's what I am expecting for Shakur Stevenson. We can't hold them to this standard and then not hold them to this standard. That's all I'm saying. To all of my Shakur Stevenson fans, I want y'all to understand, we cannot hold this man to that standard, but not hold him to this standard. And it's no reason. It's the same type of fight. All the attributes Floyd had over Arturo Gotti, Shakur has over William Zepeda. It just is what it is. So I expect that type of performance. Now, if it goes the distance, it goes the distance. Zepeda is tough. He is Mexican. They don't just bow down easily. So I don't care if he gets the knockout or not. I hope he do. I'm not going to predict that quite yet, but I hope he do. But I would like it to be in a situation where we start thinking about that. Where William Zepeda's corner is thinking about throwing in the towel. I need him to be in situations like that. I need the Shakur Stevenson to show it's a big difference between me and Tevin Farmer. And I think that that's going to help the boxing world. And we're going to be up here screaming and yelling and on panels talking about, Shakur and Gervonta like we've been doing. But then I think if he steps on William Zepeda, it gives it that conversation that much more intrigue, which I think gives it an even better chance of happening. That's the other thing about marketability, y'all. When a fighter goes out here and talks and performs, it puts pressure on the other fighters that he's calling out as well. Because whether you think he's right or wrong for calling them out, whether you think that he's serious about call, especially if he is serious, but let's say he's not. Let's say he's not serious. Whether that happens or not is going to have people talking about it. And guess what's going to happen? The next time that other fighter gets an interview, he's going to be asked about what that other fighter said, which is going to bring more eyes and everything like that to the match and has a better chance of making the fight happen. So y'all already know what this is, though, right? Bing, by any means. And I holla at y'all.